So in my last entry, I went back a little bit, but this time I'm going back just not as far back. I don't want to really just start deep diving into 90s movies, even though I can, and, eventually I will. They kind of just pop up as I watch them, in a way. I'm not just kind of making lists about things that I have seen, because this list will be way too long, and as I knock things off of my list that I watch that are current, revisiting films that I've seen already kind of just feels like, even though I love them, slightly waste of time, simply because I want to see more. I want to watch as many things as I can, because I enjoy films and I enjoy watching new style films, and I like to revisit things that I've missed. So this is a film that I kind of missed because I'm, a huge fan of Ricky Gervais as, a comedian, as a writer, but I've never really gotten into any of his movies, and I probably should have, because I really loved the show Afterlife. So because of the show Afterlife, I decided to revisit some of his older things that he has under his belt. One of them being this film Ghost Town from 2008. So I had watched this, and it was kind of partially what I expected out of what I kind of have seen from Ricky Gervais's writing style, but not what I expected for how actually good the story is for what it's worth. Now, this isn't, say, the best, romance, comedy, sort of fantasy-esque, film that there ever is or will be, nor is it the best out of anything Ricky Gervais has done. Everybody has their own opinion about what the best thing on Ricky Gervais's list is. Some it's The Office, some of it's comedy specials. For me, it's the series Afterlife. So everybody has a different take on Ricky Gervais's writing capabilities and who he is as a creator. Ghost Town is really good, not for the giving it any credit to being any better than any other movie that might be similar, but it's very good, and it's very unique to an extent. I feel like the uniqueness falls in the fact that it's just kind of the character he's deciding to portray, because the story is not all that crazy or all that unique. A guy starts seeing the dead, and the dead are asking him for help. It's a Ghost. It's like Ghost from the 90s with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg. It's that, except he's an asshole. So essentially what Ricky Gervais is writing is he's writing similar stories, but making the main character not the best person to be friends with. And you see that throughout the start of the movie, where he's not really friends. He plays a dentist, and the other guy who he's a dentist with, he doesn't really interact with him, though both their names are on the front door of the office. So it's kind of like he's not sociable at all. So he has a near-death experience. He comes back to life, and then he starts seeing ghosts. So he starts seeing ghosts, and they start realizing that he can see them. So they start trying to get him to help them with things. They start trying to get him to be like, hey, I need you to do this. Can you help me with this? Oh, can you see me? Tell my wife this. Tell my kids that, this, that, and the third. And he doesn't want to help any of them because he's an asshole. So, again, this is about the inhumaneness of him to not want to help anybody just because he's an asshole. So he's ignoring all of them, not really, trying to even consider anything that they're trying to say, until, the main ghost, I guess, the one that's really trying to, to get him to do something for him, he discovers the wife that he left behind, and he's trying to get him to kind of reconcile with her while he's dead through Ricky Gervais' character. And then he actually realized that he finds her attractive, so what he's trying to do is he's trying to woo her while having the ghost sort of help him, but the ghost doesn't really want to help him. The ghost wants him to kind of reconcile so he can pass on. Because that's why any of the ghosts are bothering him. They're bothering him because they want to pass on. So they have some unfinished business. So they're trying to figure out what the unfinished business is for him. So he's flirting with this guy's wife while this guy's ghost is trying to get him to help understand what it is he has to do in order to pass on this, that, and the third. That's where the romance comes into it, while also the comedicness of, they're supposed to be ghosts, and he talks to them. They don't hear him through lip reading or mind reading. He talks to them, so he looks like he's talking to nobody, and a lot of that can be comedic, and a lot of what he's trying to do with the woman can be comedic, and he's just trying to kind of fall in love with her, and then eventually it leads into he starts becoming a better person, has a kinder heart, starts actually helping the ghosts and helping them pass on. And that's when you realize that there are certain people that he's interacted with throughout the movies, that the other ghosts are actually connected with them in a way. So these little intrinsic stories and these interactions with other people are actually connected to most of these ghosts, which makes sense. They're in his neighborhood. They're people that sort of live around there, and they've had loved ones who have died, and he's playing messenger while helping them so they can pass on. While he was reluctant at the beginning, he eventually kind of grew more into it, and by the end of it, he's a better person. He starts making friends, but essentially he also does that at the risk of losing this girl who he's falling in love with, because the ghost finally understands what he's trying to do, and that's steal his wife. Even though he's dead, he doesn't like it, so he sabotages it. So there's that, and that kind of helps push him into being a better person. It's a very similar combination of rom-com-esque, plot devices. Not anything to write home about, but a good movie, a really good and entertaining movie. And I think it's really worth it if you like Ricky Gervais and you've never seen it and wanted to revisit it or go back to it. It's, again, not one of my favorite things of his, but I'm not disappointed that I sat through it.